some days I think I'm fine, and then it's just a fucking wreck afterwards.
Yeah.
And then it just doesn't feel real. And then you get weird moments of, not like paranoia, but you forget who he is. And then some days he's there.
Yeah.
So it's just
remembering that he's not there anymore, sort of thing. That's the tough bit, I think.
Yeah.
Sun's coming out for him there.
Yeah.
Right on time. He was waiting for the sun. He was
like,
I'm not coming unless it's sunny.
He's like, fuck off. It's my day.
That is what it was though. He was waiting for the sun. He was like, I'm not coming when it's grey and miserable. Irie!
Did you have green tea?
I left it out beside what kind of tea I got. You have to choose.
That's the lovely thing about that, is you can kind of keep in touch as much as you can.
Yeah.
You know.
They've got
Do you like it here? Yeah, I'm hoping it rains.
So, are you in the city?
Compositions. I like it.
You got the jukebox going. You got the sun in your eyes. See, I'm a little bit older. Now I know it's right. But I know it's hard for some to keep going through. Finding the light. Find sunshine. California dreaming. Keep finding the light. We're California dreaming. Keep finding the light. It's all in life. We're just fighting our time. Find sunshine. In California dreaming. I keep the sun in my eyes. I'm California dreaming. Keep looking to skies. To find your soul in my sights. To find the meaning in life. Sunshine.
Roger Peters was born in Bristol in February 1946 and was the eldest brother of 7 siblings. He was a working class man who didn't shy away from hard work. He worked for 17 years on the docks in Bristol, which we now refer to as Wapping Moor, and in later years at Avonmouth docks. Roger loved to socialise, and on an evening out in September 1969 with his friend Ken, went to a local dance. Where he met what was to be the love of his life, his future wife, Irie. They married in July 1971 and had their eldest child Sharon in 1975, followed by Kevin in 1977 and Daniel in 1980. It was during a rainy holiday to the English seaside that Roger and Irie made the decision to move to America with their 3 children. And so in 1982, they settled in California. Instantly, this was Roger's home from home. Roger loved the California sunshine, the upbeat people, and the easygoing way of life. Not to mention the coffee and the donuts, and of course any diner he came across. The Peters family have many fond memories of living in California in the 80s, before making the decision to return home to England in 1990. This took some adjusting, but luckily the World Cup football tournament was on that year, so this helped ease Roger's disappointment. He took his young sons out to the local field every day to play football, much to their initial protest, as football was a passion of his, and they knew that just because it was their dad, he'd take no prisoners when it came to a tackle. In the end, it proved to be a summer they will never forget, simply playing football with their dad. Family was everything to Roger, and spending time with his wife and children was all Roger ever wanted to do. It was what brought him the most joy in life. Chatting and talking to people from all different walks of life was something that came naturally to Roger. He always put other people and his family before himself. Roger became a grandpea to 3 wonderful grandchildren and had the pleasure of seeing them grow into delightful adults. He enjoyed retirement and made the most out of every day, with trips to a coffee shop being his #1 priority. Roger enjoyed holidays with his wife, children, grandchildren and in-laws, and was lucky enough to return to his favourite place, California, several times. In his last year of illness, Roger was cared for by his wife Irene, who never left his side. Everything they did was together, and Irene fought to give Roger the best care he deserved. Roger is now at peace, watching over his beloved family, and he would be honoured that you all came here today to celebrate his life.
Death and dying is something that in our country we don't do very well. As British people, we tend to shy away from talking about death. I researched how other countries in the world deal with this inevitable subject, and I smiled. As those of you who knew my dad, although he was born in England, he enjoyed nothing more than to travel and meet people. Some of the people he liked the most were Mexican Latinos. In fact, with his mustache, dark hair and tan skin, he could have passed for a Mexican cartel leader back in the day. Latinos don't shy away from discussing death. Families celebrate the dead by staying up all night and sharing memories of their loved one. A day like today is not the end, it is the beginning of a celebration of the life of a father, grandfather, husband, brother, uncle and friend. My dad never took a day for granted. He had a unique way of seeing the fun in every day. His sense of adventure was inspiring, and at times it was hard to keep up with him. However, none of which he would have wanted to do alone. Dad was a family man through and through. His love for my mum Irene was something that you wouldn't even see in a Hollywood movie. They were quite literally made for each other. Growing up, Dad was the most fun and unpredictable dad you can imagine. We had memories and adventures that will stay with me forever. Most importantly, Dad enjoyed nothing more than being around his family, Mum and us kids. That was the way it was, always. Growing up, Dad encouraged us to do what makes us happy and not conform to be just like everyone else. As adults, we shared Dad's sense of humour, fun and mischief, and we enjoyed our time together, going on holidays, family get-togethers, or simply hearing the same story being told over and over and over again. Today is not the end. Please join me in celebrating the life of the most wonderful man I have ever known. Excuse me, just like the Fleetwood Mac song, Dad, you can go your own way now.
Although this day is painful, my mischievous mind can't help but think of all the things I can get away with now because my mom was never the scary one. I don't need to stand up here and tell you all how incredible my dad was. Everyone that ever met him, let alone knew him, already knows this. His strength, courage, and kindness, and I can't decide between positivity or generosity because he did have a very positive outlook on life, but he did like to moan a lot.
What's wrong with this stupid phone?
Calm down.
I'm going to put this through the window in a minute.
But seriously, my dad really truly taught me how to live, laugh, and love, how to be a friend, a brother, a man, and most of all, what it looks like to be a husband. I have so many memories of my dad as a kid. Most of them involved me running away from his pinches because I was always bad. And there was a lot of pinches. But my all-time favorite memories of my dad was when we would walk to school together in the morning when I was in elementary school, and he would hold my hand. It was just me and my dad. And we would just talk and laugh and grab some donuts together. It was the most amazing time. Or when he would tickle me so much I couldn't breathe, hence the nickname Tickle Monster. I cherish every moment I have with my dad, like when he was teaching me how to play football, and he was a pretty dirty player. He was like really rough. My shins definitely did not like that. And I don't think those feelings were quite reciprocated because I broke 3 of his fingers once playing football because he was winding me up so much whilst he was in goal. So that was like my payback. But that's how we were playing sports together. And without him even knowing, he taught me how to stand up for myself. However, the best lesson he taught me and my brother was when we were jamming in our room one day, and he came bursting through the door, and he told us, the world's never gonna know who your band is unless you go outside and show the world who you are. And then he took us down to the pub and booked our first show for us, and changed my life. It's been said that when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is for so many of us to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, and to love. And that is exactly what me, my brother, and my sister will continue to do. And you, Mom, because of Dad. Now, I promised I won't cry, and I promised I wouldn't swear, and I think I've done a pretty good job. So, before I ruin it, thank you all again for coming to help honor the most righteous, brave, incredibly strong, and equally kind and giving soul a son, daughter, husband, uncle, in-law, and friend anyone could ever have, and how lucky I am to call you Dad. Thank you.
What I can make of that Roger must like California Dream, which I used to love. California Dream. He went to America, then he came back. And poor Roger, he came back when the football was Italia 90. I remember well. England didn't do very well.